guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a book review. This is my second book review of 2019, and today I am reviewing Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I keep things spoiler free here on my channel, but I will start out with just like a super general opinion on the book, which is I recommend it. 2 thumbs up. I loved it. It was easy to read. It was thought-provoking, it was funny, it had like a lot of good things to it, and I definitely recommend it. Now, launching in a little bit more to the storyline, this is a book about is she 29 years old or 30? She's like right around there. And her name is Eleanor Oliphant. This takes place in Scotland, I believe. I'm pretty sure the author's from Scotland, and so it's in the UK. And she lives this life where, first of all, she's a very, just kind of odd, unique individual. She is like super literal and does not have very many like social cues and social skills. And she's very regimented, and it's like she gets up, she goes to work, she's had the same job her whole life. She is very just like routine and very practical. Doesn't really understand or do things for like pleasure or for joy or for, I don't know. So anyhow, you learn about her, and she talks about like that her weekend routine is like she goes home, she stops at the grocery store, she gets frozen pizzas and like 2 bottles of vodka. Like that's a lot of vodka. She drinks it every weekend. She has these conversations with her mom, who she calls mummy because that's like what they say in the UK. And you're kind of starting to pick up like, okay, what's going on there, girl? Like there's kind of some dark sounding weirdness happening. She ends up kind of getting this crush on this musician. And so she wants to like research this musician. She's been single forever, and she decides like this musician is the one that I'm gonna be with. So she decides that she needs some help figuring out how to like set up her internet, or her like, yeah, I'm pretty sure just setting up her internet. So she calls upon the IT guy in her building at this job she's worked forever. And that's kind of where the story begins, is that she starts to form this relationship with this IT guy, just really out of necessity at first. And one day, like I think it was right after he came over to her house to get the laptop set up, something like that. Like she needed him. And they're walking, and they stumble across this like old man who's unconscious in the street. And they end up having to call 911 or whatever it's called in the UK. They call the paramedics for him, and he goes to the hospital. And like, so that just kind of connects them, because now they're there like together kind of taking care of this man. And again, I really don't want to give a lot of spoilers, but you slowly start to learn more about Eleanor. You learn more about why she is the way she is, what happened in her past, and she's a really unique character. She's very funny, like really funny and really odd, but she is endearing, and you kind of fall in love with her more and more. And then the other thing that I think is really cool about this is that it's like funny and kind of charming, and there's kind of some like romantic elements in here, kind of like, not even really though. It's not even really like a love story, but like maybe up for interpretation it could be. It also touches on some like serious matters, some like heavy stuff, and something happens to her when she's little that causes her to spend the rest of her life in the foster care system. And so she talks about that, and at a certain point, kind of more towards the end of the book, she starts going to therapy. And like, I just think they did a really good job of depicting what it's like to like go to therapy and work through these like dark things from your past. And it was just like a really spectacular job. The author did a spectacular job of keeping this light and fun and good, but also like not afraid to show you the dark stuff, the scary stuff. So I really loved it. It was part of Reese's book club, and word on the street is that she has the rights to it, and Reese Witherspoon and like her production company is going to produce the movie version of this. I don't think any other headway has been made in terms of like, I don't think they've cast anyone or started filming yet, but I like would totally love to see this in the big screen. I'm sitting here going like, who would play this character? Who would play that character? Yeah, I mean, that makes me really happy to think that there's going to be a movie, because honestly, I have said this before, I don't do well with endings that are up for interpretation. I just don't. I'm huge on like getting my questions answered. I ask a lot of questions in real life and I don't like not having closure. So this kind of did that to you. It kind of left you without closure, and it wasn't the worst. It didn't leave you on like a cliffhanger or anything. But I guess it was kind of like up to your interpretation of how you think, what you think was going to happen with the two characters at the end, like beyond the book. And so that made me a little crazy because I'm like, no, I just want to hear that like what I wanted to happen happened. But I'm gonna think that, right? It was my mind that interpreted this story, so I'm gonna think that way. And then B, I think it would be really lovely to see the film version, and maybe they would change it a little bit. I mean, movies tend to be different than books just because they kind of have to be to a certain extent. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I loved it. It was great, and it was unique, and I recommend it. So if anyone actually has any other recommendations that is like similar to this, because it's hard to even, you know what, when I looked it up, the category was called like a psychological, was it a psychological romance or a psychological something? I mean, it's not a thriller. It's not at all like a thriller or a mystery or like a total like romantic. No, it's really not. It's like just good and just thought-provoking and just like I said, perfect balance. It was like just lighthearted enough, but also just like deep enough. So again, if anyone has any recommendations of something that's like similar to this type of like genre, if you've read this before, if you have not read this before, read it. Let me know what you think. I just started my next book, which is called The Nightingale. I forget who it's by. I like just started it. So I guess there's a chance I could like change. I don't know. I don't think so because I think it'll be good. But yeah, The Nightingale should be my next book review. If you like book reviews, I would love it if you would subscribe or not. It would make my day though. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye.